Welcome to APCO TV. Now, joining me today is the President, John Anthony. Thanks so much for joining me, John. Now, can you tell me a little bit about APCO as an organisation?
APCO as an organisation came into being over 25 years ago now and was born out of the Public Safety Radio Communications Programme when government really decided that there was a need to bring the user community and suppliers together to understand what the requirements were for critical communications. And since then it's evolved and grown rather than just a meeting and talking of people. It's become the APCO it is today, which is not just the show that we're talking about today perhaps, but it's a whole community of over 1,000 members, people from the emergency services and the wider critical communications community, plus all the key essential suppliers, all the names that you would imagine that people would know in this world, come together. So yes, we have our main show. We have some smaller exhibitions and conferences throughout the year. We've been running some small round table sessions as well to focus in on some key areas of concern at the moment. And we publish a journal every quarter so that we keep people informed. And of course, all the usual social media side to it as well. But we're a very small organisation. It's just a small board. There's me and two vice presidents, Chief Executive Ian Thompson, and then we've outsourced really the management of the conferences. So it's really done on a voluntary basis.
And that sounds like a challenge in itself. I mean, you've obviously evolved through all the technologies as well. How have you overcome those challenges?
We've tried to be ahead of the game, really. We try to look forward. So what we're doing at our conferences and exhibitions is to look forward to seeing what the next challenge is. So it really bore out of Tetra Communications, which Airwave is today, which is now becoming old and outdated, so it needs to be replaced by new 4G LTE technologies, which is what we're focused on at the moment with the replacement of the emergency services network. So we're there to bring suppliers and users together to see what's unfolding so that we understand what the future brings, and we work together to make sure that we understand it, we understand the capabilities that the new technologies are bringing, and we can bring them into use, into life, for the benefit of everybody, the emergency services in particular for us.
You mentioned some new technologies there, 4G, LTE. What about other technologies that you think are going to be like future-proofing for not just APCO, but for users and suppliers?
I think because technology is changing now to 3G, 4G, 5G, so it's going to be more evolutionary rather than revolutionary going forward, which is much easier in a way. It's easier to go through the transitions because it's quite painful what we're going through now, which is really throwing away Tetra, which is very good, but it just doesn't give the broadband capabilities that we need. And it's a big change to move over to the emergency services network using 4G LTE capabilities. So that's a huge change that hopefully will be much easier in the future. But there's other new technologies coming along as well, which is why we've got the drone zone at the exhibition this year. We had one last year. We've got it there again this year. So we've got some key experts from that field coming in to speak, and some demonstrations this year. We've got a netted off area. We think it's health and safety compliant. Hopefully it is, and we'll be allowing some people to demonstrate the capabilities that drones have. And also we've got some people from the operational field to talk about how drones have actually aided operations. We've seen them used in flooding, we've seen them used in fires, they can be used in search operations, but actually not just talking about it, but actually hearing some benefits from some real users is going to be quite exciting.
I mean, the capabilities of drone technology, we don't quite know yet. But I mean, talking about other future-proofing ideas and technologies that are going to come along to the conference, what's something that you're looking forward to learning more about?
I'm still very interested in we keep talking about what the future holds. So we get very excited about new technologies, new capabilities, artificial intelligence, but we need to keep the focus on the basics as well. So when we look about broadband capability and mobile broadband, that's not there yet. It's not universal throughout the country. So you come to London where we are today and it's great. We're all fully connected. Go home in the evening, you're not. And that's not what people expect now. If people are going to run businesses, run their lives, we need a mobile workforce that can go and work anywhere and be anywhere. So use Skype, use Teams, using whatever you want. You don't all need to be driving around. We don't all need to be sitting in an office together. We need to move forward. And that's not just about emergency services and critical communications. That's about how the country works, how we work as a nation, how the workforce operates. So that needs to be transformative, but we need reliable technology to make that work. We can't afford, where we've had floods over the last few weeks, and people to lose their internet connections and go down for weeks, days, weeks, months even. We need that to stand up and be robust enough to keep going. Otherwise, the whole economy dies. So we can't move forward without that reliability. So we need to build that in first of all, build the basics, and then we can build on from there.
That's making sure that the end user, the customer, is also making sure they have an input as well, isn't it? Rather than just the suppliers taking over and making a big change.
Suppliers are very good, and they have some really clever people working for them, but not necessarily the practical side of it. So you can develop something that you think is very clever and is very clever, and understand that you think you see a niche market for it. But actually, if you talk to users, they'll go, no, that's rubbish, it'll never work there. But it could work over here and solve another problem we've got. So I think the beauty of BAPCO is bringing those people together, the user community and the supplier community and those clever people that work in it, to make sure that we exploit their developments and their thinking to make sure we can put it to best use going forward.
And that's exactly what the conference is about, isn't it?
It is indeed.
So tell me a little bit more about the conference. What exactly we've already spoken about some technologies that you're looking forward to seeing, but any specific speakers that you're looking forward to hearing from?
We've got the Home Office speaking, and they'll be talking about the ESM programme. We've got Ofcom coming along for the first time, which encompasses Next Generation 999. They are the enforcing authority for that, so it'll be really interesting to get them along. We've got people from a branch of the security services from JSARC coming along to talk about how they work with the with suppliers developing technologies that can be used in the security services and offshoots from that. So that's another new one. We've also got people coming from abroad. We've got people from North America coming to speak, and of course from Europe as well, where they're on a similar path to us in terms of technology rollout. In some areas we're ahead, but I still think there's a lot to learn from people along that journey, both them from us and us from them. So it's going to be really exciting as we go forward.
And that sounds like great for all international audiences, but what would you specifically say to someone who's considering attending, but they're not quite sure if they should?
Well, first of all, it's free if you're working in the community, so it's not going to cost you anything other than a train fare to get there. But if you've not come along before, you really need to come and visit. I mean, you can look on our site and you can see videos and the presentations from previous years, but there is a real buzz about the place. It's really exciting. People are really excited about the technologies, and by coming along and talking, either on their stands, or we've got the members lounge. You can come and have a coffee and talk and engage with the people that you want to about how their technologies could fit in with whatever you're doing in your sector. You're part of this industry, but unless you experience it, you don't really know it. So I really would encourage people to come along, try it once, and you'll find you'll be back, because that's what happens with most people.
Well, I hope so. Thank you so much, John, for joining me and talking about BAPCO and the conference coming up.
It's a pleasure.
Now, you can join in at the BAPCO conference. You can head to the website at bapco-show.co.uk and register for your free ticket to the Coventry Ricoh Arena, March 10th and the 11th.